I'm doing some production work on the next batch of Switch X's, and I wanted to go over just the reason why I chose MikroTik as my base router. What a lot of these companies won't tell you, a lot of these audio companies won't tell you, is that they don't make the switch and they don't make the router. They simply buy something and then put stuff around it. There's even some snake oil people that just put a fancy case on something and do almost nothing to it. Anyway, so I thought I'd cover why I chose MikroTik. MikroTik is a very large company. They make worldwide. They make a tremendous number of products. All the way, their primary market is ISPs. So they do very sophisticated devices. Well known, been around a really long time, and incredibly flexible in what they do, configuration wise, and keep everything very up to date. So the main reason I really went after them, though, is the build quality and the way they do everything. So this one is is fanless. That's important when you're doing audio. It uses a really nice system for getting rid of the heat, which is cool. But one of the important things for audio have to do with the simplicity of processing. So you're not processing things a whole bunch of times, each packet a whole bunch of times. You want it to just be in and gone. This design is very, very simple. You can see down here, this is each set of signals that come in and then go directly to the chip. Notice that there's nothing else around them. This is important because that means you're not going to get interference from other circuitry. Also on the back side of the board, this whole area is a ground plane. So these are like really tiny little canals, little channels that are very discrete. This keeps all the signals really separated in and out of the chip. The other huge advantage here is that there's almost nothing here. This is a very, very, very clean design with very little to cause jitter and packet jitter, electrical jitter, all sorts of stuff. There's just nothing here. It's one chip. So if you're using a router and you're using a switch, then you're using a whole lot more circuits and you're getting a whole lot more stuff in the way. That's going to induce other issues. This is very straightforward and clean. Also, because the case is metal, the advantage to that is that obviously it's very well shielded. The board on the other side, is right there against metal, so that the whole paths that we're talking about here are extremely well shielded. Now, the chip itself, this is a 10 gigabit per second backplane, which means that the chip itself, this Marvell chip, is quite powerful. So you don't hear people talking about what chips they're using in their audio switches, but that's actually really important, because the more powerful the switch is, the more powerful the switch chip is. In this case, the switch chip has CPU. This leads to less packet jitter, because the faster the chip, the quicker it can deal with each packet. So it leads to less packet jitter. The power supply on here is quite interesting. So it's originally designed to work with 12 volts to 57 volts on the input. This required a dual regulator. This is very handy for what we do, because a dual regulation means that ultimately it's going to present voltages to the parts that are double regulated, which is far more stable. So that's really good. This is a stock unit right now. I'm fixing to do all the stuff to it, but again, you can see that that the channels come right into the SFP ports. The SFP ports are really straightforward. Everything nice and symmetrical, well shielded. The board itself is actually quite thick. It's a multi-plane PC board, quite serious, which is really good. What you'd expect from industrial. These aren't residential. These aren't home routers. These are the real deal. These things are made really tough and are very serious and meant to last a really long time. So no fooling around there. The Ethernet port's kind of fun. It has a dedicated Ethernet port, a dedicated isolation gadget, and a dedicated Ethernet driver, which I do all sorts of mods to this, but I'm not going to discuss everything, but this is a little different once I'm done with it. But the reason why I chose this is because of all those factors, is because this is an extremely well-made board, and quite serious to begin with. It has all the features that we need as far as for audio use. So anyway, I just thought I'd cover that real quick.